Good afternoon, and thanks for joining us here on our 10 Weather Impact Show. I'm meteorologist Aaron White, and it's been an active 24 hours here across Ohio. Just, of course, yesterday evening we had record high temperatures up in the 80s, and then we got a lot of showers and thunderstorms. So we want to kick off our show today with some of the video of the hail that we saw just last night. And sounds like that may have woken you up last night as hail was falling over central Ohio, and it certainly was loud. Many of you sent in some photos and video, and here's a look at some of the pictures from Ryan and Worthington. You can see the ruler busted out there, and we are showing some more hail. That was about an inch in diameter, about quarter-size hail. There were some reports of some ping pong ball size hail as well. And also sent in some video of the lightning, look at this, flashing across the sky during the storms. This was from a viewer in Columbus, just west of Upper Arlington. So some pretty wild stuff. And of course, we are not tracking any more storms today, but we do have some more active weather as we head later on into the week. So let's go ahead and dive into the forecast here. Looking at yesterday, of course, that record high temperature, 86 degrees, breaking that previous record of 85 set back in 2012. So really warm temperatures, and it led to that big, thunderstorm development. We had several storms that went severe, producing hail, some winds gusting up to 60 miles per hour. Also a lot of rainfall, but that was all because of a cold front that not just brought the severe weather, it dropped our temperatures. It was a strong cold front because this is a look at our temperature change in the last 24 hours. We're 45 degrees colder now in Columbus as we were already into the lower 80s, close to 50 degrees colder there in Zanesville. Again, our high temperatures were in the 80s. Now we're down into the 30s to near 40 degrees here this afternoon. So quite a drastic change, but we are going to make some progress as we go through the forecast, getting back up into the 50s, 60s, and we even have 70s coming our way, looking ahead to our Thursday. But for right now, yeah, still pretty chilly out there. The cloud cover kind of locking us into the 30s here this afternoon. If we can still get a little sunshine, I think we can get to about 42 degrees for a high today. That's about the best we'll get. Winds are out of the northwest at 15, making it feel like it's down into the upper 20s. And here's a look at those temperatures, barely getting to the lower 40s. So pretty chilly. We're heading back down to the 30s later on tonight. And then eventually we'll start to begin that warm up as we continue on through the forecast by tomorrow. Back to the low 50s, and like I mentioned, 70s are coming our way, at least briefly here by Thursday. Meanwhile, the radar, a lot quieter. Kind of nice to see that after a busy Sunday. All the storms have moved well off to the east, and we're still dealing with some cloud cover, that colder air building back in. Here's some flurries kind of making their way through the Cleveland area. Shouldn't have to worry about that, but we're waiting to see if we can get some more clearing that we're starting to see there around Dayton and Cincinnati. A little sunshine getting us up closer to the lower 40s. But as I mentioned, you saw briefly there, all the showers and thunderstorms that developed yesterday really have pushed well off to the east. Not really a problem anymore, but we had so much activity develop, bringing the hail that you saw there earlier in the show, and also quite a bit of rainfall. This is a look at how much rain we saw in the last 24 hours, with many areas where you see the blue, at least a half an inch of rainfall, but some locations where you see the purple, we're talking about 1.5 inches to 2 inches of rainfall. So some pretty good amounts. And we are tracking another round of rain and potential thunderstorms here for Thursday into Thursday night. This is the current severe weather outlook. And the thing to keep in mind is this could still change a little bit as we go through the next couple of days. But right now, it does look like there will be that potential for some more strong to severe thunderstorms late Thursday into Thursday night, especially I-71 and to the north and west. So we'll be watching that closely as we continue on through the next couple of days. But at least for today into tonight, not tracking much. The clouds gradually clearing out. And clear skies tonight, allowing for our temperatures to get pretty chilly here for the overnight hours. And then we'll likely see some mix of clouds and sunshine as we head into the day tomorrow. But looking ahead to Thursday night and at Friday morning, likely going to see some pretty good rainfall. We'll watch for that chance for those thunderstorms as we head into our Thursday night. If that potential for any severe weather is still there, of course, we'll be tracking it here on 10 TV and on 10 TV Plus. Meanwhile, our 7-day forecast, well, trends are looking better after today. Highs only in the low 40s, back to the low 50s here tomorrow. But tomorrow morning, we're starting off at 25 degrees, pretty chilly here for your Tuesday, and then back up to the 60s on Wednesday during the afternoon. We'll have a mix of clouds and sunshine, and then right now, most of Thursday is looking good. 74 for a high temperature. It's going to be late in the day for the evening, and more so Thursday night, that we'll see the rain, those showers and thunderstorms building in, likely lingering into our Friday morning. 44 for the high temperature, and then we do rebound again as we head into the next weekend. Highs back in the 50s and 60s, but right now, not tracking any 80s in our forecast for quite some time. So we'll get there, but it's going to take a little bit. So let's look at your forecast, but before we move on, we do need to take another look back at our severe weather from Sunday. And that's more sound from all that hail that landed across central Ohio last night. We saw, several areas getting that hail, not just in, parts of North Columbus. This was actually taken around Dublin. You can see all that hail covering the ground. We saw hail covering parts of I-270 as those storms were rolling through. So pretty wild storms that we had here across central Ohio. And more images coming in from viewers. This is actually from Johnstown. You can see just some large hailstones, almost the size of golf balls, and showing some more pictures there of all the hail covering the ground. Just making sure, with all this being so widespread, make sure you keep an eye out for any damage due to these storms that the Ohio Insurance Institute says damage to roofs, walls, and ceilings caused by wind, hail, or downpours is typically covered. Some losses are covered under homeowners policies, and others may be covered by policy endorsements. So you'll want to check with your insurance agent regarding coverage, and even before you do that, of course, as always, take some pictures so you can have that for those insurance claims. And another thing to keep in mind if your property sustained any damage from last night's hail or last week's windstorms, and you're looking to hire someone to help with repairs, make sure you do so safely and to stay vigilant against scammers. The Better Business Bureau says red flags to look for include contractors or companies offering free roof inspections, pressure to secure a deal, and vague answers about where the business is based. Don't turn yourself into a target. Take your time and always get multiple estimates. And if you have debris and branches from the windstorm earlier this month, Worthington is offering waste drop-off for residents. Bring debris and yard waste to the Service and Engineering Building on Highland Avenue. It's open Monday through Friday from 7:30 in the morning all the way through 3:30 in the afternoon, and will be open this Saturday too from noon to 3 p.m. And of course, storm season is a sign of something else as well, and that being spring is finally here. It's the perfect time for many activities like spring cleaning and putting away your winter clothing. Just remember to stop and smell the fresh flowers. For local organizations like Franklin Park Conservatory, springtime means a little bit more to people, which requires more staffing.
We put out over 100,000 bulbs in the fall, and those bulbs are now poking up, and we are having a blast of it. I mean, if you like spring and you like all the flowers that are coming up, it's really the place to be.
Yeah, always nice to see that. And right now, the agave plant is flowering, and it can take up to 60 years in the desert where they normally grow. It's called the century plant, and once it blooms, the flowers will only last for about a week. Then it will take at least another 10 years before we see those blooms again. Pretty wild. And it's also a similar situation for local businesses, especially those with an outdoor area. Down the street, the Old Town Tavern, where they're preparing for patio season.
Very busy. A lot of people. Patio season is our favorite. It's the busiest time of year.
And of course, don't get too excited for patio season just yet. It doesn't start until at least April, when businesses bring back summer staff to at least help, and especially once we get some of those warmer temps. And while we need all these rains to set up for our beautiful spring flowers that make patio season a little bit more enjoyable, too much rain is never a good thing, and that's actually what they're dealing with in parts of Hawaii. Right now, thousands of people on Hawaii's island, Oahu, are under evacuation orders. Oahu is where the capital city of Honolulu is located, and it's one of the most visited islands in the state. And as the Saturday morning officials say, no one has been killed, but the governor says the floods have damaged buildings, homes, and even airports. Jen Sullivan has the details on the catastrophic flooding.
Drivers on the island of Oahu desperately trying to escape the rushing waters. We're good. As Hawaii is battered by what the state's governor calls the worst flooding in 20 years. Heavy rains drenching the island that's home to Honolulu, streets turning into rivers. Water surrounding this entire neighborhood. Hundreds have been rescued and thousands have been evacuated. Some families have lost almost everything.
This is all we got right here. What we got on us right here. There's nothing else.
In some areas, the water is so high, trucks like this one are almost underwater. You can see someone paddleboarding in the street. Some towns on the North Shore are cut off completely because of the rushing water. The catastrophic storms have damaged homes, buildings, and even airports.
This storm could cost over $1 billion of damage.
And almost every area is being hit.
We're seeing impacts everywhere from our west side over to our windward side and even in urban Honolulu.
With more rain on the way, authorities say there's fear this 120-year-old dam in Oahu's North Shore could fail, which would decimate nearby communities and be life-threatening.
If the water goes over the top of the dam, then it can erode the other side, and then you'd have a catastrophic break of the dam, and it would wipe out all the houses on the other side.
A flash flood watch is in effect for the entire state until Sunday afternoon. I'm Jen Sullivan reporting.
Yeah, some pretty wild stuff out there in Hawaii, and also some pretty wild stuff over the last week as we talk about some space news. Just days after that meteor that we saw over Ohio, another actually fell in Texas. People have spotted another meteor streaking in the sky, this time in the Houston area. On Saturday, reports began coming in from people who saw a meteor dart across the sky, and then they heard a loud boom, just like we heard in northeastern Ohio. This dash cam video capturing the moment when a white streak appears in the blue sky. The National Weather Service reports its satellites picked up a possible meteor or meteorite. As Jason Miles from our Houston station reports, that meteor, or at least part of it, may have gone through the roof of a local home.
I'm on the second floor of the home Sherry James shares with her family here in the Spring area, and they got quite a surprise this evening when this apparent meteorite fragment came bursting through the ceiling, landing in a bedroom here. There's the hole it came through, according to Sherry. It then bounced off this spot in the floor, ricocheted over to this part of the ceiling, making that hole, and then landed over here next to the TV. Sherry, you say your son found this rock.
Yes, he did. My grandson found it on the floor. We heard a big boom, and when I was in my bedroom, and I didn't know what it was. So I said, it's coming out my daughter's room. So I told my grandson to go see what it was. He come back and said, you have a hole in the ceiling. And I'm like, what? And so I come over here, and first thing I was mad. I'm like, what didn't come through the ceiling? But then when I saw the hole, then I saw the piece on the hole in the floor, and this, and then I saw the rock. And I'm like, oh no. I said, that looks like a meteor piece. So that was the first thing come to my mind. It was a meteor.
Just wild, but here's another angle of that meteor coming down, and NASA says the 1-ton fragment entered the atmosphere and traveled southeast at 35,000 miles per hour before breaking apart over northwest Houston, just over the northwestern part of Houston. The disintegration released energy and generated a pressure wave that caused those booms that people heard and scattered some meteorites across North Texas. So pretty wild. And of course, we saw that here in Ohio with that one just over a week ago now. And from things coming out of space to things trying to go into space, NASA's Artemis 2 rocket is back on the launch pad. And this comes after the rocket repairs at Kennedy Space Center following a leak prior to the last launch window. Early next month, NASA will try for a second time to send a crew of 4 on a flyby of the moon. Mark Strassman has the details.
This is NASA's Artemis II moon rocket, inching toward its big day at Florida's Kennedy Space Center. It's a behemoth, 32 stories tall, and set to launch humankind into a new lunar era. Boy, does this rocket pack a punch. Nearly 9 million pounds of thrust. It's the most powerful rocket NASA has ever flown.
It's a test flight, and it is not without risk, but our team and our hardware are ready.
For NASA, Artemis II blends high profile with high stakes. It's a moon mission where astronauts have never flown before on an SLS rocket or in an Orion capsule. The crew of 4 will launch from Florida. Their round trip will cover 500,000 miles. Over 9 days, the capsule will take them close to the moon but never land on it, loop around its far side, then return to Earth for a splashdown off the coast of San Diego. And this lunar adventure could begin as soon as 10 days from today.
While I am comfortable and the agency is comfortable with targeting April 1st as our first opportunity, just keep in mind we still have work to go
as we get closer to launch date.
We talked about the rocket with astronauts Christina Cook and Canadian Jeremy Hansen before they went into quarantine last week.
We built this unique, gigantic thing that's both the most delicate thing in the world and the most powerful thing in the world.
When you look at that rocket, what goes through your mind?
Mostly I see all the hard work that went into it because it's just so close to my heart.
In 2019, outside the International Space Station, Cook was part of the first all-female spacewalk. Now she's about to become the first woman ever to go to the moon.
We were going to the moon from the very first time that humans looked at it. We are a species of explorers, and we need knowledge gain to continue.
With Artemis II, NASA's promising us the moon again. A lunar landing will come with Artemis IV, scheduled for early in 2028. Mark Strassman, CBS News, at the Kennedy Space Center.
And finally today, we also want to check out some new video into us here at 10 TV. This video coming out of Washington where heavy rains have led to a massive slide that closed portions of I-5 just north of Seattle. Washington State's Department of Transportation crews members told news crews that this is one of the 5 biggest slides he has ever seen. They have to make sure it's stable before they can even think about cleaning it up. And the DOT there, the team actually from Olympia, is coming up to see if the slide is still active and if they need to do anything before cleanup begins. When the cleanup does actually start, it will, of course, take some time. And DOT says one of its dump trucks can actually remove an average of 16 cubic feet of debris with 3,000 cubic feet of dirt, rock, and trees. It's going to take about 188 dump trucks to actually clear it all. So some pretty wild stuff with all those heavy rains and some flooding that's been happening up there in the Pacific Northwest. And we're going to end with some positive spring news. Just last week on the first day of spring, signs of the season are popping up all over the place. This is actually a look at parts of Youngstown, Ohio, where you can see the daffodil meadow. The first blooms are starting to appear, and a preview of the color, still yet to come. And soon the field will be filled with bright yellows and oranges. Park officials remind visitors to enjoy the view, but leave the flowers in place. And of course, we're all really looking forward to the spring season, starting to see a little bit of blooming happening here around the Columbus area. And of course, as we continue on through the rest of March and getting into April, once we get some of those warmer temperatures, really going to start to drive some of that spring bloom here, and also is going to drive our temperatures up into the 60s and 70s and potentially 80s here once again as we head into April. And of course, we all know, like we saw yesterday, that could lead to some more thunderstorms. So we'll be tracking that as we go through the next several weeks. So that'll do it for us here today on the 10 Weather Impact Show. Coming up later on this evening, Chief Meteorologist Chris Tomer will be in to talk about the storms coming up here on Thursday. So you can catch more news and weather online at 10tv.com.